Live from the Preston Highway Studios, it's 24-hour Purple People. And now here's your host, John Harper.
Good evening, Purple fam, and welcome to 24-hour Purple People. My name is John Harper, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have you along for the ride today as we are all set to talk another week in Louisville professional soccer, including Racing Louisville, Louisville City FC, and a whole lot more. Well, really, I guess that's the main professional ones, but we can talk about Metro, too. They're on the list. Gentlemen, good evening to you guys, and welcome to the program. I am thrilled to have you on this NFL Football Sunday, but we're going to talk a different type of football. Ken and Matt, how you guys doing?
Doing great, sort of.
Yeah. Matt, sir, are you doing okay?
I'm doing good. John, I want to go ahead and take this opportunity. And I know that we're a little early. We're not officially into spooky season yet, but during the month of October, I think we should be known as 24-hour flying purple people eaters. If I can go ahead and get that trending on Twitter, hashtagging that.
Yeah, as long as you do all the graphics for that, I'm completely fine with it.
Hey, I got you. I got you, boo.
Yeah. So, you know, it was an up and down week to say the least for our favorite teams out there. Ken, I believe, is frozen in time again. He seems to do this off and on. I know that he has been struggling with his knees, and he has been icing his knees quite a bit, which might
Here's
be
the result.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It starts at the knees and it kind of goes upward, but hopefully he'll be back with us momentarily. Matt, first we would like to cover today. Middle of the week, or I should say last night, actually.
Okay.
Hey, what happened? Where'd you go? Why are you over there now?
Who knows?
I'm just going to
Matt Dalton's everywhere, baby.
I'm just going to go with it for now. You can sneak back over there if you want.
Oh, yeah.
Cover up over there. So.
Let me get big like a bear, like Kyle.
It's funny, Ken having, he talked about a couple of weeks ago his security system in his basement and all these nice things he has, but he still is on a 56K modem. I mean, it's just crazy. Unbelievable.
I'm not shocked by any of that, knowing Ken.
I think he's back. Hold on. Let me see. Ken.
All right, see if you can fix us.
Ken wants to join the call, it says. Hold on.
No, hit no to that.
He is back.
Hey, look at that.
Ken, are you back officially?
So we've moved to my iPad.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We can make this work.
Even better.
Probably.
Does it connect to 56K? All right.
All right, we're good.
Okay. Here we go. Well, you're first up. I was gonna throw it right to you. Last night, Courage Racing, Wake Med Soccer Park Racing officially eliminated from contention in the playoffs. Ken, this was the largest defeat of the season for Racing. Not pretty. What'd you see last night down in North Carolina?
We seem to be getting worse as the season goes on, which I think a lot of people are complaining about on the interwebs. I think we're not, we started the season, especially under Coach Kim, saying we're going to be a high press team. I haven't seen a high press yet. For very brief spells throughout the season, maybe you saw something like that, but we can't control the midfield. We haven't controlled the midfield in a couple of games, which is evident. And, the one player I thought that could make an impact last night, we sold to Real Madrid. So I think this is very, very troubling when you look at the rest of the games on the slate for the rest of the season. It's going to be more disappointment, I'm afraid. And what I hear from the team is, they're a team, they're in the locker room, they're behind each other, but when they step out on the pitch, I don't see them playing as a team. I don't see a game plan. It's very troubling.
It is troubling. And Matt, something that we've said has been troubling for most of the season is Racing getting off to a poor start. Certainly has continued. Katie Lund having to make 2 saves in the first 5 minutes of the match. Not good losing in this fashion, especially this late in the season to a team that we said last week it was a winnable game for Racing.
Yeah, Katie got tested early and often in this one. She was forced to make a couple of saves in the first 5 minutes, and it only took the Courage 9 minutes to get on the scoreboard. And even though Nadia managed to get one back later in the game, I mean, North Carolina really, for all intents and purposes, I mean, they beat us with that one score right there. The air kind of left the room after that first goal, and we never really managed to catch a breath after that. This game was so one-sided offensively, so one-sided. North Carolina managed to put up 10 more shots on target than us, and they had 22 total to our 5, 22 to 5 on shots, right? Not good. They also have made great use of their set pieces all night. Only Chicago has scored more from dead balls, and they were dangerous with theirs all night. Overall, man, this wasn't a fun one to watch, to be honest. I mean, worst loss of the year, kind of emphatically closing the door on the playoffs as we're now mathematically eliminated. And depending on the Gotham match that's going on right now, we could be in last place before the end of the night. So it's tough to be in Lavender Mint right now, man. And if these last 2 losses weren't enough to convince the FO to show Bjorkegren the door, I mean, he's bulletproof for the rest of the year, right? Like he's got to be good after this. 9-1, we get outscored the last 2 games. So that tells me the FO's on board, right? Racing was lucky that this game was on Twitch and that no one could figure out how to watch it. I mean, it was kind of a shit show.
Did you see the body language from Nadia after she scored her goal?
She didn't even care. They didn't even care. That was the best pass. That was the best service she'd gotten all night, and it was from one of the Courage's players. So
that was the only service she got all night.
Yeah.
Yeah, Racing.
They served it right up to her on a plate.
Racing without a win in the last 13, have not put a W on the board since May 22nd. Ken,
May 22nd.
Yeah, we talked a lot about just how difficult and challenging this situation can be with a team. Where do we go from here? We know we're going to talk a little bit about Orlando Pride coming to town next Friday, but where does Racing go from here for the rest of this season? What do we need to do to maybe put together a couple of wins to end the season on a high note?
You know, that's a great question. Is it about winning ball games right now, or is it about setting the new table for next season? And if we don't win any more games, then I'm sure Coach Kim is going to have a lot more pressure on him. On the other hand, we got to start figuring out who's going to be here next season and who's not, because you're not going to see all the same players next season. You see Warren Malay. That's all that I know is staying right now. You'll probably see a couple others that will hold on to DeMello and Howell, things like that. But I think you're going to see some significant changes. And setting the new table, I think we're going to have to either get a completely new team or let go of this high press style, because we can't do it. And unless we get a new midfield, we're not going to be able to do it. We need a new defense on top of that as well. So the decision right now is set it for next year or go out and try to win a couple games. I think the latter is going to be a lot harder considering who we're playing.
Yeah, we definitely have a interesting run coming up here, and it'll be good to see just how Racing resolves in this situation. You know, a lot might be, not only set on the wins, but I would argue that just the will that they come out with and the passion that they show is going to mean a lot as well. Matt, we're not used to this in Louisville as far as professional soccer goes. We're so used to the dynasty that Louisville City has created here. But that doesn't mean that we don't go out at Lynn Family Stadium Friday night and support Lavender, right?
No, absolutely not. I mean, yeah, you go out and you cheer for your club regardless. This is going to make the high points when we eventually do get to them just ever the more sweeter, right? I mean, when you remember these low points as a fan, we haven't really gotten to those low points within Louisville City, but we'll get there at some point there too. It sucks, but it's part of the game. It's part of being a fan. So yeah, you go out there and you cheer and you put out support regardless of what happens.
Yep, absolutely. Ken, hopefully you can physically make it to the matches this weekend.
We'll see.
Yeah.
That bum leg.
2 in a row. Well, I
Busted
know,
wheel.
I know it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for racing to come out of this, and yes, absolutely deflating loss, and just something that get it behind us and move on, and hopefully we move on in a positive way. Louisville City wish to continue some positivity after that home win against Sacramento. Wednesday evening in Oklahoma, Louisville City found itself up against FC Tulsa. Tulsa's hanging on by a thread, Matt. This game had several momentum changes, a game that saw Enoch put 2 in the net. How did we come away with just a draw in this one? And what'd you think of the match?
So, John, you just asked me a question, but I want to ask you a question. All right.
Uh-oh.
Have you ever wondered what the groove machine would sound like if they used only cowbells instead of drums?
It would be interesting.
Well, I think you got your answer on Wednesday night. Wednesday night,
did.
we were witness to all of the best of USL TV's production department has to offer. We got bad camera angles. We got bad camera work. We got bad sound mixing. We just lost Ken again, which is more than likely the USL's fault.
Yes.
You can really see where that production budget goes on these games. What an out-and-out shit show. It's twice I've used that now in this shit show of a show.
Rightfully show.
Moving on to the actual game. Let's talk about Enoch Matiti Mushagalusa, all right? I feel like we're pretty hard on Matiti a lot of the time, and I think it's because we have such high expectations for him, you know? And that makes games like these even better, games where he reminds us what a fucking talent he is.
Mm-hmm.
We gave up the lead early, and we put ourselves in a position where we had to play from behind. And that's not a position we typically play well in, but Matiti stepped up not once, but twice. So credit very much where it's due there. Matiti early on had a real opportunity in the box where he had a good angle on goal, but he sort of decided to instead make that extra pass, and that ended up being a mistake. But after that, it seems like he made the conscious effort to just sort of let it fly, and I hope that his teammates were paying attention. So many times this year, we've seen the second or third pass in and around the box be the one that loses his possession as we're attacking. So many times I've been at home screaming, shoot it, like I'm watching an action movie. I really want these guys to have a little more of a hair trigger out there. And I know how stupid it is for me to deride the team for being unselfish, but I want to see them take more shots at goal, you know, and I hope Matiti started that trend there. I also want to shout out to Elijah Winder. I like how in the mix he was on the attack, and he settled in really well and really quickly. What a treat. What a dream.
A dream indeed. The start of this match, Ken, with Tulsa was not a dream. Coach Cruz actually said that this was the worst start of a game for Louisville City this season. What do you blame this slow start on? Was it the pitch, maybe the odd angles of the stadium, One Oak Stadium? What did you see out there?
No, we were coming to the end of a we're not quite the end, because Pittsburgh was the end of a very long 4 games, 15-day stretch. Where we were mixing up the lineups, so people weren't really able to get their groove in a little bit. It's showing us how little depth we have in some positions, and there are a lot of tired legs out there. That was evident not from Matiti at the Tulsa game, but because he put so much out there in the Tulsa game, you saw it at the Pittsburgh game. Going away back-to-back games, coming off a Sacramento game, which was pretty high emotion, going into Tulsa midweek, which is a hard place to play. It's one of these little itty-bitty fields where you're going to, get lots of collisions and lots of brutal play a little bit. It gets tough on the legs to continue through that. So I kind of blame that on it. It's no excuse. We got to be able to pull away. We did walk away with a point. It wasn't a total loss. The problem is we can't seem to get San Antonio to drop any points.
Yeah. Matt, just as Ken alluded to, 3 big subs coming out of the half. Brian Omby, PDP, Wes Sharpie, all coming off the bench for Danny at halftime. You happy with these subs? Happy with the timing of these subs? We'll talk a little bit about substitutions in the Pittsburgh match as well. Seemed to put a little spark in the team coming out of the half.
My wife and I always joke when Obi comes off the bench that means Danny's serious. He decides at that point, okay, he wants to win the game. Yeah, that's always he's great in relief. I mean, he's great starting. So, yeah. Danny's been excellent with his substitutions, not just this year, but just in the totality of his career, right? In the entirety of his career. So always getting a big lift from the bench from our boys. So yeah, big up to Danny.
Can we know that a draw at this point, as you said, this stretch of games, Adrian Diz getting that late equalizer. Oh, now what are we doing? We've got two Kens, ladies and gentlemen, on the screen. This is crazy. How are you in two places at once? Okay.
Oh, I had to throw my computer out the window.
Well, you don't have to do that. I heard laughter.
I'm a Matt. Oh, there you go.
What's going on here? Now we got.
This is going to be really interesting to describe for the podcast. I'm really interested how this is going to come out.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to keep talking as if nothing is going on here. So the Diz, he's the Diz getting in. Hey, there we are. Okay.
I'm the Diz.
The Diz getting that late goal, something we didn't want to see, and we've done. Katie called us the Brady Bunch. Something we did not want to see in a late time period in this match, for sure, because Louisville City had done such a great job up to this point. It felt like in these late closing halves, and we did not close that half, and then Tulsa gets that go.
We hadn't seen it in a while, so this was good. But oh my God,
you're
Am I
good,
still
kid.
there? I was about to fucking punch this. No, we hadn't seen it in a while. This was good. But then we saw it, and I don't want to keep going back to the legs and things like that. When we were talking about this game before we played it, I said we were going to see 45s from a lot of our players, and we did. That's exactly what happened. Is at halftime, Danny Cruz elected to make some fairly significant changes.
All right. Well, you know what? There you go.
Yeah, read them up.
Yeah, just read them up. It's enough. Okay.
Be prepared, Ken. Come on. Come to work prepared.
Come to work prepared.
What are you doing?
Upgrade to DSL, for crying out loud.
I'm saying.
We have lots of internet jokes tonight, folks. Thanks for hanging around with us. I think he's back again. Is he back? Is he moving? No, he's not moving.
Yeah, no, yes, he's moving.
He's flipping me
he's
off.
Just on red.
Is he not
the
happy
Riverhounds.
about being on the red? Riverhounds, yes. For some reason that says Rough-Necks next, but we just played the Rough-Necks. Okay. This is the technical difficulty episode. Thanks for sticking with us, folks.
This is wonderful.
It is wonderful. I'm having a great time, actually. Okay, well, after that draw at Tulsa, Game 5 of the 15-day stretch was at Highmark Stadium, visiting our old pal Bob and those familiar foes, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Los Morados, with their fifth match of 15 days, as we said, those legs are getting tired. Matt, when you look at this game on paper, when you look at the stats, I don't recall seeing more similar stats in a game. It was just everything was very head-to-head, but did you see the same on the pitch? Was it the same visually, or was that just on paper?
I think it was a pretty even matchup from my obviously uneducated eyes. It looked pretty even to me. John, let me stop you for a second, okay?
Oh, sure.
Did you know that our last game at Highmark, our last game at Highmark was November 2nd of 2019.
Oh, yes.
That is the game that you and I turned a year older. We celebrated our birthdays there, and also PDP put us through to the Eastern Conference Final with that beautiful header in extra time. So that's the last time we were actually at Highmark Stadium. I know it seems like a very long time, and I think that in that meantime, I forgot how small Highmark is. It's a very compact field, one of the smallest that we'll play on all year. So that makes it a really tough place to play, and I think you could really see that on display on Saturday night. Not too many chances created, and really none of them capitalized on. Neither team could really establish themselves. Stats pretty much even across the board, as you mentioned. We did have some pretty solid plays on defense, I think. We had some good stands in the box. We had a really teeth-clenching goal line clearance, and we had some really tremendous saves from Morton. Kyle got the man of the match award there. So with even without a lot of bite on attack, you couldn't call this a bad performance. It just wasn't particularly fun to watch at some points, I think. We got a big positive, though, heading into the game, as we got to see both winders on the bench for the first time all year, and then we get to see them both on the pitch, which is pretty great. Josh said after the game that he was near 100% and would be ready the next time his number gets called, so that's pretty great. You love to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Ken, how did you feel about Josh Winder coming in that 21st minute? As much as we've talked over and over about the needing to rest some players, but was that kind of odd timing to you, or do you think that was the right time to pull the trigger, get Josh in there?
Well, it's odd time. You don't normally make a defensive sub at 20 minutes in. So that was odd. I think he needed to come on because he's got to get some rust off. I don't know. Was he injured or was he just doing something else?
Do you think Wes Sharpie had gotten a yellow card not too long before he got taken out? So I wonder if that had something to do with it.
My next point is there were 5 yellow cards on us in that game.
Yeah,
that was
kind
of the one statistical difference. And when you see a lot of yellow cards, especially on one team rather than the other, there were some unevenness about that game. We really couldn't get anything going up front. We were having trouble connecting, from Tyler up to Gonzalez, up to, some of our forwards and our wingers. We were having trouble in that area of the pitch getting going forward, which concerned me a little bit. I liked that we again brought in Elijah, but I still thought it was too late to really see how he can do. I did see a pretty significant game difference when PDP came on at halftime. I've over the years maybe given PDP a little bit of shtick because sometimes he's not the fastest player on the pitch, but he has a commanding presence that if you really watch him, and then also the way he works the referee, and you'll see him what seems like blowing up and getting angry, but I really think he's just getting angry at himself in his Italian way, which I think is one of the funniest things I see from our players. But seeing him come on at 45 and only playing half a game, and he's done it 2 or 3 times this last stretch, tells me he's a vital player. He's probably a starter. We just have to make sure he's healthy going into the offseason. But getting things going up top was rough. Seeing Josh Winder come on was good because we need our depth in our center backs because there's no way you're going to play 5 games in the rest of the season and then go through a playoff run without any depth at that position. I'm a little worried about Tyler. I want to make sure he's not carrying any knocks. He has had some injuries in the past, but he is vital to our ability to be able to connect defense to the offense.
Yeah. Neither team created many chances. As a matter of fact, Pittsburgh created one, missed one. Louisville City created no big chances, according to my stat window here. But just gridlock soccer, Matt. Good old-fashioned 0-0 draw. Saw some funny comments out there about it being a boring game in some aspects. I don't really look at it that way.
Yeah, it's a lily ball.
It's lily ball. That's what I mean.
It's lily ball, baby.
But any closing thoughts on our return to Highmark Stadium?
Whenever we watch at home, my wife always gets excited when she got really excited when they showed Bob Lilly for whatever reason. I don't know why she's semi-obsessed with Bob Lilly. I don't know. She goes, "Is that him? Is that him?" When they showed him on screen, and I don't know where it came from, but it's funny.
Here's a yellow for Simone. You can give it to her later.
I'm gonna hand that to her.
Say, "Here's a yellow card," and she'll be like, "What are you even talking about right now?" Simone is a big ratings person for us. She just can't stop watching 24-hour Purple People.
She doesn't know what I'm doing back here. So.
I will say this: City extends its point lead over second place Memphis to 5 with that 1 point. You're asking yourself, Memphis in second, but what happened? Tampa losing to Charleston on Saturday evening at the Battery. So that was good. A little 5-point cushion.
Gimme right there. That's a gift.
Absolutely. Tampa just did not. I think they scored in the 3rd minute of the game and were just dead after that. So hey,
You'll see that.
Bottled it against the battery.
You'll see that from Tampa. They'll just annihilate people 5 games in a row, and then they'll just lose to somebody just out of left field. So it's good.
I'm not complaining. It was good to see Louisville City playing with such tenacity at this point. After the stretch of games that we've had seems like it's all over the country, back and forth, and all the things over the last couple of weeks. I think a 0-0 draw against Pittsburgh, very acceptable outcome. And I also think that it showed us that Pittsburgh is going to be a tough team. Somebody that we potentially could see in the playoffs. I think if the standings stay the same right now, they will play Birmingham in the opening round, if I've got that right. So it's very possible that we would be seeing them, if we get the bye, in that second round of play, possibly. We'll see how that all ends up. But Pittsburgh does look very strong, played us very well, plays a very gritty style of soccer, and held us to 0, but we held them to 0-2, and Kyle Morton getting back on the clean sheet page, which we love to see for sure. Our keeper getting that done. So playing with pride. So, this has a couple of different meanings, as we will host the Orlando Pride Friday evening at Lynn Family Stadium. A purple doubleheader starts again. We've had several of these purple doubleheaders this season on a Friday and Saturday back-to-back, as we welcome back the Pride to Lynn Family Stadium. Matt, I'll start with you. The Pride are sitting at 9th on the table right now. They haven't had the best of seasons. They seem to be a better defensive team. Not great on the offensive side. What do you see out of the Pride so far?
All right, call me crazy here, guys, but
crazy.
I'm a little optimistic about this matchup. I really am. Orlando's first and second string keepers missed their last match due to injury, so we've got a chance to face a really heretofore unproven player between the sticks, so that's a plus. Also, Orlando doesn't have the roster that's kind of full of these U.S. and Brazilian national team stars who've absolutely burned us the last 2 games, right? They're not fielding superstars out there. So this looks like a very even matchup to me, and it looks like a team that's in a very similar situation to ours. What we kind of have to figure out before the match, though, is what are we playing for? We're out of the playoffs. We're in sort of the lame duck portion of our season now. What are we doing to keep ourselves motivated? Have the players bought in at all? Do they want to go out on a high note during an otherwise unsuccessful season? I don't know. I don't envy them. As a competitor, it must be hell to go through the motions at the end of a season like this. But they still have a chance to end the season better than they were playing at the beginning. So even if it doesn't amount to anything, you really want them to see it go out there on the right foot and give it to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Ken, Orlando comes in 4 wins in a row on the road. Seem to be having some quality games on the road as of late. What do you see out of this game coming out Friday night, and what are our chances of maybe turning this unbeaten or no win streak? 13 straight without win.
Unbeaten streak?
I don't want to echo Matt, but it is probably our best chance for a win before the season ends. Orlando did go through managerial and player roster changes significantly this season. So, unfortunately, also like North Carolina, they may be finding their feet right at the end of the season, which is usually bad for us because we seem to have lost our feet. What's that?
We have no feet.
We have no feet.
Yeah.
We're footless.
We really need to challenge ourselves, and the team needs to look at themselves and come out and play with everything they have to show the fans at home that they can put wins up. And I think this is an opportunity where they need to do this. Orlando is lower on the standings, and they don't have as much star power as the other teams have, which potentially makes them a little bit more vulnerable. They're also a relatively new team that has come together with a new system, also making them more vulnerable. We just have to get it together. and get out there and win.
Yeah, Matt, it does feel like a winnable game, but we have said that for about 13 straight weeks with racing. What do you think the keys to this matchup are going to be for racing?
I'm not saying we have to score first, but we need to go out and have a good start. All right. We need to go out and establish ourselves and get some good chances before maybe they get a chance to. I think key to really everything is going out and putting that press on at the very beginning and keeping it up throughout the game. That's the way Bjork wants to play, right? I mean,
okay, so I got something.
Yes.
Laura Millay played a little bit of the 6 occasionally in the last game. Now, granted, we got our asses handed to us, but
okay.
I think if we can figure out who's going to play that defensive midfielder, I mean, it's almost like we need 2 6s, Jalen Howe and Laura Millay. That will, because I always worry if I see a number 6 playing that's like 5 foot nothing. We don't have enough size there, but Jalen Howe, is obviously one of our larger, taller players. So that if they can get themselves organized in that and be able to work out of that, and maybe provide some service farther forward, I think we can start to achieve success. I'm a little worried about our center back pairing, but we'll see how that goes. Lester took a huge shot in the last game. For sure has a black eye, and once again, Gemma Bonner was bleeding by the end of the game. And
She got the head wrap too.
Mm-hmm.
At a girl for playing through all that. I don't know how, what kind of long-term damage she's doing. But, as long as that stuff's superficial, they're not doing any permanent damage to themselves. And they can figure out that center back and the holding midfielder so they can push the ball out of there and up forward. I think that's good. Emily Fox being out on a concussion worries me. I don't know how long that protocol is.
Yep.
I believe she's had some concussion issues in the past. So the more concussions you get, the longer you're going to be out. And I remember when Brian Obi was out for a fairly significant period of time. I'll say last year, it might have been the year before. So these things happen. And
Kyle missed quite a few games this year for Louisville City. So
yeah.
We've seen it before.
So that worries me. But, I hadn't seen Lauren playing in that number 6, but when I saw her, she's got a real sense and tenacity about her. Not always necessarily in the right position, but I don't necessarily blame her for that. I blame more of the system for that. But if we can figure that out in that spot, holding mid, I think we'll be a lot better off.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And I think that, this is we know we're out of the playoffs, Matt. You kind of started off with this. What are we playing for? We know we're out of the playoffs. No chance of that at this point. However, I think this is where you dig deep and you do some internal looking, do some soul searching, not only as players on this squad, but as fans. It's tough to get out. It's tough for drummers. It's tough for capos. It's tough for everybody that's diehard supporters and loves this team like we do.
Some people got bad knees,
Some people have bad knees. Some people have bad internet. So, it could be a lot of, issues coming to tuition. Here, take a yellow card for that. But
froze.
Did it really? Oh, he's back. Wait a minute. It froze right there. I think I can still hear him.
Wonderful.
Ken, are you with us?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm cracking up.
Perfect.
Like
Just keep talking. That's excellent.
Perfect.
Yeah, we don't need to see you. Yeah, you're good.
As long as we can hear you. I'm sure it'll come back. It'll be all fuzzy. But anyway, as I was saying, what timing?
Well,
that was like
when you're saying it,
that was like
we have to reset. Right? If we can get our midfield, especially our holding midfield, worked out and working well together at the end of the season, which is Lormeley, it's Mello, it's Jalen Howe, I think we'll be a lot better off going into next season because those players are the ones that are going to stay. I'm not convinced our older players are going to be around next year. The Jessica McDonald is somewhere near the end of her career. I'm not saying it's next year, but I'm saying somewhere near. Dr. Nadia Nadim, also somewhere near the end of her career. Gemma Bonner, potentially also near the end of her career. So, the players that we want to see working well together by the end of the season are those Formalays, DeMellos, Jalen House, and some of those other players that we have.
A young core
in that midfield.
Yep. Yeah, we'll definitely get to see that. But to kind of finish my point, though, it's tough to go out and be in the position of the players and the fans in this situation. But we'll continue to support racing, and hopefully we do end the season on a high note. And hey, sometimes when you're at this point in the season, we've all been fans of bad teams, and I hate to even say bad teams. But we've all been fans of teams that have just not gotten wins like we expected throughout multiple sports. At least I have. Hey, I'm a Cubs fan. So,
Ken's a United fan.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yep. And another bird. I'm not going to red card you because we're just lucky to have you at this point, Ken. So, but
I'll red card myself in a minute.
let's get out there. Let's get out there Friday night if we're able to and support Lavender, and hopefully we can end the season on a high note. Speaking of a high note, a team that is not necessarily high on the table, and that is Loudoun United, currently sitting at 11th on the table. The second part of our purple double header, will be Saturday evening at Lynn Family Stadium. Matt, Loudoun is not good. They ranked 25th in goals scored, but they do have a few offensive weapons. What do we got to look out for on Saturday?
Yeah, so Loudoun's coming off 2 losses, and they find themselves in 11th place, right? Many thought that this would be our last ever meeting with Loudoun as the 2 teams for MLS make their exit. But in August, MLS announced that JK, Loudoun actually won't join MLS next year. And presumably they're going to remain in the USL for the time being. And normally I've argued in the past that this is a bad thing, but we've only picked up 5 points in our last 5 games. And we're playing for a first-round bye and a supporter shield. So with 5 games left, I would take 5 Loudoun Uniteds if I could. Let's keep them in the league. Let's do it. Loudoun is one of only 2 clubs this year who have managed to be top 5 in the league in goals conceded and bottom 5 in the league in goals scored. They're a real dual threat out there. They also happen to be sporting a minus 19 goal differential on the road, which is almost impressive if you think about it. Honestly, I don't want to talk too much about Loudoun, because if we drop points in this game at home with a full week's rest, it won't be Loudoun who beat us, right? It'll be mistakes that we've made. We have so frequently played down to our opponents this year and sort of gifted them goal-scoring opportunities with simple lapses in concentration on the back line, lazy passes in our own half. We put in a full 90, and this team can't beat us. It just kind of remains to be seen whether or not we end up putting in a full 90.
Very well said, Matt. Ken, Luis Zamito is a great keeper for Loudoun. He's up there in the rankings, but the fact that he has that many saves means that the ball gets down into their box quite a bit. What do you see out of Loudoun? We beat them 2-0 at their stadium earlier this season. Not a great squad, a team that we should get the win.
Yeah, like Katie Lund, just because you have a ton of saves does not necessarily make you a great goalkeeper. It could. It just gives you a lot of opportunity to be great or to not.
Katie
be
Lund
great.
catching strays.
She's good. She does drop the ball every once in a while,
she's good,
which drives me crazy. But she has 20, 30 more saves than everybody else in the league, and the reason for that is that she doesn't have anything in front of her. So, but getting back to Loudoun, I don't see a lot of threats. I reviewed Loudoun. I don't see a lot of threats coming out of Loudoun. That doesn't mean we're not going to struggle. I think, listening to Danny Cruz in the post games, one of the things he mentioned a couple of times is that he's going to give the team a couple of days off. It's been a while, probably, for these players. They've been, working every week and working every weekend, whether in training, reviewing film, recuperating, and haven't had a lot of rest. So they need a couple of days off to get away from each other and get their head straight before they come back to training and start prepping for the next opponent. This is a full week. I don't expect the staff, the data manipulators, and all that to take a week off, but the players need to take some time off and kind of recoup, do whatever it is they do, go camping, sit around drum circles. I don't know, whatever they do, but they need to do it to kind of forget about things, but then get their head straight and come back into the game. I expect a win. It's at home. It's been after a tough road stretch, but they get a week off, and we need to set that glide path into the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. This will be a good game to kind of get us going back on the right foot, on the winning foot. We do have a challenging games ahead here as we will be back in action the following Friday, a week from Friday at home. So, pretty quick turnaround at home at least, so we can get a little rest. At least we're not traveling across the country like we have been. I hope that we use this game as an opportunity to maybe continue to do a few experiments with our lineup, so maybe some rotation in the lineup, and maybe we can see, maybe it'd be interesting to get both winders out there starting. I wouldn't mind seeing that on Saturday.
Depends on who's
what I want to
healthy.
see.
It depends on who's healthy. I would like to see Elijah Winder playing with Josh Winder, of course, starting. That would mean he seems to be a 1-for-1 with Gonzalez, which is okay with me. But I also want to win this game, so I want to make sure people like Tyler Gibson are out there. I want to make sure PDP's out there. I want to make sure Brian Ownby's out there. I don't want to hurt anybody, but I want to get the team that is going to carry us to the championship. I want to see them together and out there and scoring lots of goals.
Yep. Coming down to the nitty gritty. Rebecca says City tends to lose to teams we should beat. Monterey Bay comes to mind. Sometimes we do seem to play down when we see these teams on the schedule and we go, this happens. But that's something I know Danny does not. That's not the message ever from Danny. Any concerns in that aspect, Matt?
Let me tell you what I hope I see out of this game. I hope that Danny sits all the fellas down and he says, he looks it up and he figures out this is the record for number of shots in a game by Louisville City. I want you guys to go out there and double it. So I hope he just sends the crew out there and he just says, just swing for the fences, man. Just knock any ball out of the park that you feel like it. Just go out there and shoot. That's what I want to see. I want to see our guys get into the right mindset, that shoot first, ask questions later mindset. And I want us to go out there and pound these guys. Yeah,
some more chances in the box taken by Louisville City would be nice. You kind of talked about that a little bit with Tulsa. We seem
I'm listening.
Yeah, I do listen. Amongst all this chaos, I am listening. But yeah, they seem to sometimes get down there and overthink things, passing it around where you can see
overthink. Yes.
Oh yeah, you can see that channel open up, and you're just like, oh my gosh, push the circle button for crying out loud.
Just shoot it, baby. Just shoot it.
Yeah. So
who does that is Ray Serrano. Ray Serrano will take some shots from the top of the box from outside the 18. So if you want that, you're going to want him on the pitch doing that for you.
Let's go, Ray. Let's do this.
Yep. Yeah, he came in late the other evening. Was that at Pittsburgh
or
Tulsa?
It's a decision. If you're going to play Ray Serrano and you're going to play Musha Galusa, then you're going to play, Wilson Harris up top. Then there's no spot for Brian Ownby. So these are kind of the decisions that we're going to need to make. I almost would rather see Brian Ownby, a healthy Brian Ownby, playing up top. Ray Serrano coming off the bench, potentially with Musha Galusa on the other side. I think Wilson Harris is getting a little wore out, not a whole lot of depth. So you can play Brian Ownby in that position. It's been done. I wouldn't do it on a field that's any smaller than ours.
Yeah. That's a good point. It's not a bad problem to have so much talent on this squad from Louisville City. I think it's the deepest squad that we've ever had. And even though
not everywhere.
Well,
we got some
overall. I think it's the deepest.
Okay.
My general.
Where are we shallow, Ken? What do you think? Where are we?
Shallow at the 6. Tyler Gibson.
Okay.
Shallow there. We are obviously shallow at the 9, Wilson Harris, and Ownby in a pinch. Who?
Cam? Should he ever be healthy again?
Cam? Yeah, should he ever be healthy again? But that doesn't seem like it's coming to fruition. No, it doesn't. I don't know.
I would like to point out that you said we did have some problems connecting up through Tyler in that midfield. You have no room to talk about connections, my friend. You have been quite spotty on your connections as well.
Problems.
I just wanted to fit that joke in. That's it. I'm sorry.
Manny Perez seems like he's playing with a couple of knocks too. And I think he left injured last game, if I recall correctly. Not injured, but looked like he was a little worse for wear. So I'm a little worried about that as well, because he's a huge difference when he comes on.
Someone we definitely need healthy.
So, we have talented people that can come off the bench. They could probably start at 75 to 90% of the other teams out there in the USL. On the other hand, we have some fairly clear and distinct starters that may be playing with some knocks. I know that we can't play Tyler Gibson every game, and that's a significant problem.
Yeah, 75%, 80% of teams in the USL, those backup players can play for. It's the deepest team we've ever had on the pitch.
Okay,
that's my argument. I'm a general, wrestling. I know, it's like, okay.
I'm a pessimist, man. I've been a soccer whole life.
It's all right. Hey, I want to circle back to
Scorpio.
Ekich not getting enough playing time. Rebecca brought up, John agreed on the chat. Ekich for racing, not getting enough playing time, maybe. Thoughts on that? I feel like she's definitely doesn't seem like she's out there as much. Mostly subbing, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, she comes on. She usually comes on late too. It's not like she comes on at 60 minutes. She'll get thrown on at 80 something. So she's really not getting a huge amount of time. She had more time at the beginning of the season. So the question is why is that? We're a little biased because she's the hometown girl. And we want to see her play more. But on the other hand, how effective is she when she gets out there? She's got a great set piece. So you're certainly going to want her on the field to take set pieces at the end of the game. That's certainly something to think about. And she comes on for who? Jess McDonald, right?
Yep, a lot of times.
Krista Davis, maybe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for now, I would certainly start Jess McDonald over Amina Ekich. I get a little worried when I see Jessica McDonald coming all the way back on defense and playing more defense than she's playing offense. I think she's just trying to get something started to move the ball forward. She's trying to dig it out of the back and carry it forward. So that's an issue, and I don't see Amina Ekich doing that as much. So that's something that Jessica McDonald will give you over Amina Ekich, but she does run out of steam, and then they'll make the switch.
Matt, any thoughts on Ekich as we wind things?
No, that was great. I mean, Ken pretty much nailed it. I just love watching him work. I mean, that was great stuff.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Well, I mean, when you think why is a player not getting time, it's like, who are they playing behind? The same thing with Ebony. Who was she playing behind? And maybe that's why she wasn't getting a whole lot of time, is because in training and the style they're trying to play is more congruent to Nadia Nadine or whoever.
I think we should play a style where we get to win games with Ebony Salmon rather than what we've been doing this year.
I don't think we should be playing a high press as much as we're playing with racing. I don't think we have the personnel to do it right now. But who am I? I don't know anything about soccer. So anyway.
Well, don't you have a book?
I do.
I mean, yeah.
You've been shilling this book all night for us.
About zonal marking. These things are boring. Has anybody tried to read these soccer books? Oh my God, they're going to kill me.
What has driven you to read soccer books? Is it the knee injury?
I've read them before, and the game has evolved. Since I used to play, we didn't, Pep Guardiola really kind of changed the game. significantly in the past, I don't know, 15 years. So it's evolved. And, everybody talks about this high press. So I want to understand it a little bit better. So that's why I've tried to become a student of the game. I'm not a very good one because I fall asleep reading these things, but that's why.
Sometimes if you read right before you go to sleep, though, you retain that a lot more. I've found out over the years.
I try to sleep on it and retain it through osmosis.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
College.
People expect me to lead, not read, so I don't read a damn thing. I leave that to you two.
Right. Well, we do have some important announcements to make. First off, we are going to start a GoFundMe for Ken's internet. Kidding. I'm kidding. All right.
Put up.
We are going to have a little vacation of sorts. No episode next week as several of us will be away. We'll have away games. But in the meantime, you can always check out everything on our YouTube channel. While you're here watching today's episode, if you don't mind taking a second and hitting that like button, we'd really appreciate it. We will probably have a limited amount of hot minutes this week as which have a lot going. There's a lot going on. We're going to take next Sunday off. We will return after that the following Sunday. And it's going to be very exciting when we do return.
Yeah, get ready for the playoffs.
That's right. Do not forget, we have an audio form of every episode. Usually comes out Wednesday, unless I forget to push a button on my computer, and then it comes out on Thursday. But audio form on Spotify, relive all the... this is probably a really good one to do the audio form. I really enjoyed when the boxes all popped up, though. That was a highlight. That was a highlight for the first 23 episodes.
Throw that in a hot minute.
That was great.
I don't know how I did that, man.
Well, here's what's funny. I immediately had a great idea for our next little video. We can do a little Brady Bunch type tribute. I think Katie called us the Brady Bunch on there. That was funny.
Hey, don't forget
stealing her idea, huh?
Don't forget the smoke off.
Yes.
The tailgaters
this Saturday
who meet in the Gold Lot before every Louisville City game are going to do their annual smoke off, which is a judged competition where they take the flesh of innocent little beings and they smoke them in big smokers, and then people eat them and then judge them.
So it's not like a marijuana
these
competition.
beings are innocent.
I wish it was a marijuana competition, but it's not. We'll have that later.
Yeah, Louisville City, we stay smoking.
Well, I'm sure there'll be some vegetarian type meals there or something. But yes, the smoke off is always fun. A lot of people show up for that, and it's a pretty. Take that trophy very seriously every year. There's a lot of
well, the chili cook-off is the one after the smoke-off.
That's right. That's right.
Is there's a hierarchy, I think the chili cook-off's a little
probably
bit higher.
Yeah, a little bit higher. Always a fun time at the tailgate. So we hope to see
Tradition.
Hope to see everybody at the FAM for that purple doubleheader starting on Friday. Don't forget to follow us on all the social media outlets out there. Spotify, that's not a social media. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all those things. Hook us up, help us out, hit the button, whatever it takes. We would love.
Tell people that you like that we're cool.
Yeah, tell them we're cool.
They'll hopefully watch our stuff. Please do.
Tell them we have American Online and we are ready for this channel to blow up.
Is that bad?
We got a bindle full of the here's 3 hours free, those free CDs that you got with cereal. We got a bindle full of those babies.
We're
getting popping them in Ken's computer.
Ken's getting his stats from a button that just says sports. So just bear with him.
That's Matt.
We love you, Ken. I love you too, Matt. And we love you out there, Purple Fam. We will see you in 2 weeks as we return for 24-hour Purple People. For Ken Luther, Matt Dalton, my name's John Harper. We will see you next time. Thanks for joining us in the chat. We love you guys. See you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye.